Talkers. It's your back porch commentators coming to you from somewhere in Missouri, where a firm handshake means more than your signature, and a cold drink can help solve almost any problem. That's what we're planning to do here, bring you along on our journey to the answers to life's questions. You'll get a few facts and a lot of opinions, but remember, we're probably intoxicated and definitely full of shit. So pull up a chair and settle in while we explore some of those most thought-provoking questions, like why is a man bun a thing?
Okay, here, let me try this, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna do the big
You
John
do the
Texas
intro?
voice. I'm gonna do the big John Texas voice.
Oh.
Hi, friends, and welcome to B&J on the Rocks.
I don't sound like that. Am I that tired?
No, you're just that smooth, and I have to
Okay.
I have to go overboard
You
to
gotta,
reach that level
yeah.
of smooth to equivalent. So for me, it sounds ultra smooth because I'm usually obnoxious and you're smooth.
Yeah.
So for me to bring it down to here, it sounds like.
I was born for NPR. Unless I'm drinking.
Nobody can resist my sweaty voice. So, welcome to episode 25 and a half / 26.
Yeah. 25 and a half.
As you can tell, we've already
We've gotten into it a little bit.
we've been in not quite balls deep, but I'd say half a shaft worth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we managed to lost some audio already.
Yeah, you know.
It happens.
We're gonna do what we can.
So welcome, friends. I just wanted to try the introduction one time.
You know, I thought about doing a more professional thing, yeah. Except that was the very first intro.
Yeah.
It's this thing on WNBC. I thought about doing something fancy, like
Pull your pinky up?
like remember the I say fancy and then I go to hee haw. But remember the I'm picking and a grinning? Yeah. I'm a picking and I'm a grinning, you know?
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm like, hey folks, I'm John. And you say, I'm Brent, you know?
Uh-huh.
Maybe we'll do that someday.
And you're picking and I'm a grinning?
Whatever. Either way.
Either way, we'll finish. Shit.
So welcome to episode 25-ish.
And 3/4.
Well,
Actually, this might be 25 1/4 because we lost some of the audio.
Whatever, we'll get there.
I wish I could help you with this technicality stuff, but there's only a couple things I can do, and honestly, one of them's illegal. So...
I should be really good at this. I really should be good at this. I've used this thing so much. That's bad, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've tried that line. It
I've
never
used
works.
this thing
I've
so
used
much.
it so much. I should be better with it, but I'm
I've
not.
used the vibrate function and everything.
I was trying to be classy, really, could you, okay, when you start masturbating at I don't know, 10, 12 years old, whatever, yeah, and you've been doing it for 26 years at this point, whatever, right? Okay, you really think to yourself, man, I remember the Sears catalog used to get me hard, and now, you know.
You're on page 8.
Yeah, you're on page 8 of Pornhub, you're lightly choking yourself with a belt, just hoping you don't get stuck in that position. You can't decide which lubricant to use because each one represents a different hole on a different body. And you're just trying not to think of the horrible, dirty things to do to women that you really dislike. So, I think I'm going to class it up a little bit. I'm going to go with some I was going to say very...
candles and shit?
Well, maybe, you know, I don't know, spray my balls with some cologne, give myself that fresh paint feeling. You know, I was going to watch some, I was going to say straight porn, but that sounds horrible. When I say straight porn, I mean, very mundane.
I normally watch gay porn, but
yeah.
today I'm going to try straight porn.
I was going to watch an elk mount a sheep with a Latino girl in between, you know, on St. Patty's Day.
Interracial bestiality.
Yeah, I mean, the crap that you can find on these sites, so I'm just okay, I'm going to class it up. And about halfway through, I was like, I might as well be jerking off with my pinky up. Because, I mean, not just because it's short, but because, I don't need that extra finger. I should just... It's not going to get me anywhere. I am what I am. After jerking off this long, it's Yeah, you're gonna have to watch the one with a little bit of rope and the standing 69 and
At some point, you just run out of time.
yeah,
You go, fuck
you
it.
just fuck it. I just go to the old fallback and take care of it. Yeah.
Missionary.
Yeah. As long as I'm still watching straight porn, I'm good. Nothing against people that don't. Just not my thing. I mean, I might throw a gangbang in there, but
you never know.
only if she's 6 foot tall and blonde. Because that reminds you bitch reminds me of somebody that I used to know. Which then leads me to emo porn.
It really does. It really does, doesn't it? Anyway.
I thought there was only 3 holes. How'd they get 5 of them in there?
Shit. You've been modified.
So I went to the show in Mexico, and it was like donkey fucking girl. I'm like, all right, let's see what this is all about. And I went in there, and it was a donkey fucking a girl. Like I just felt bad for her.
That poor donkey.
Donkey.
Oh, I just went all Shrek on it.
Donkey. That's enough donkey.
Dunker.
She's looking over. It's a ginger looking over her shoulder. She's like, "That's enough donkey. That's enough donkey. Let's go. Let's go." The sun comes up. She turns into a real princess. Oh my god! Where's my crown?
Oh my god. We should start every episode like this. Halfway through the model.
Halfway through, and then recycle back and put the beginning at the end. It'd be a surprise for everybody. They'd be like, "Wow, this got boring really quick."
This reminds me of episode 1. We're just like random, just like constant,
It's between the election and life and everything else. I just felt like drinking tonight.
Yeah.
We weren't even set up before we were through our first glass.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, exactly. No, it's
welcome to the party. People.
Are we gonna?
I just went Trump with it. Did you hear it? Welcome to the party.
To the party. It's the best party.
It's the best party.
It's the best party.
They say it's not the party. There's only 2 of us here.
People
but it's
are
a lot.
saying.
There's multiple people in me. I feel like I have several personalities. Really. Now I feel like I'm going George Bush.
Yeah.
Like bringing it together with the separate points of light. There's here and there, and we'll bring it together. And it's whole with 1 light, 1 point, several points to 1 light together. It's good.
Wouldn't be prudent.
Wouldn't be prudent. Shouldn't do it. Ain't gonna do it.
Ain't gonna do it. Read my lips. There was a guy. There's a guy. And God, I wish I could remember his name, but he's a quadriplegic, right? I'm sorry. Didn't mean to.
I've seen that porn too.
Yes. You know where I was going.
Yeah.
No, but there's a guy. He's a quadriplegic, right? And he got the opportunity to what was it? Present some award or something, right?
Right.
And President H.W. Bush was supposed to be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, H.W. He was disappointed because he wasn't there. And he was like, I've been planning for a year for this moment. And he's like, he spoke with a computer, one of those kind of, like Stephen Hawking kind of guys, right? And he was like, I've been waiting for this for a year, right? So I could be like, type out, read my lips. And I was like, that is a fucking amazing, man.
And then it doesn't show, right?
And it doesn't show. It wasn't because he died. It was before he died, but, that would have been great. Anyway, do we know who the winner is yet? I don't know. This is going to come out Sunday, Monday-ish. So, do we know by then?
Well, let me check the election results. And here's the thing:
I think
different polls say different things. Like I'm reading the Associated Press, and it's 264 for 214. The only reason I'm reading that is because it's just the one that pops up in Google.
I keep going.
Like you don't even have a choice.
270 to win is where I keep going. Yeah. I don't know who runs that.
If Biden wins Nevada, then and now there's 0.9%.
Okay, this changed because this had given I think it had given Arizona to Biden, and then they took it away now.
Really? Are they
I
recounting
checked earlier, and it was 264 to 214, and now it's 253 to 214. So, fuck, I don't know.
I don't fucking. And the way they're calling the Associated Press, I think is fairly liberal-minded. So, yeah.
But I don't think they're going to try to call something if they don't have a good idea. You know, I don't know. I mean, because what are you going to gain from it? Viewership, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah, a few bucks after every view is what they're doing.
Is all it is. So we we were watching CNN on well, we're flipping back from CNN to something else. I remember it was one of the other CBS or something. But and it was like I kept telling my son, because my son's really into it this year, right? He's 17. He's gonna vote. He's gonna be legal to vote next year, but obviously we're not voting anything.
Right.
But anyway, but he's really getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're watching it, and he's watching it for hours, and I'm like, these people are used to like having some kind of idea on election night.
They got no
who's gonna win, and I was like, they've got to fill 5-6 hours of shit. They're gonna say the same thing over and over again. I was like, look, now they're doing this alert. Now they're going to show Wolf Blitzer have a follow-behind camera walking over to the magic wall so this guy can tell. And I was like, yep, here we go again. Same fucking thing over and over again.
And over, yeah.
I was like,
I seen one where the guy'd been up all fucking night and he's had plastic surgery and his hair was like, and his eyebrows. Did you see that one too?
No,
and his
but you
eyebrows
can
like,
imagine, right?
And he was like fake baked and his lips were plump and he's like, he looked scared. He was like,
and you're just like,
and I was like,
why?
Wow.
We knew a week ahead of time that this
Loosen
wasn't
that
going
tie.
to be decided.
Like you're,
right?
I feel like I'm choking watching you. And while I might be aroused by this,
I'm choking you watching me.
Yeah. Your face is ruining it. It's a lot like going sober. It's like, this was really great, and then halfway through you're like, this is looking kind of funny, and then by the end of it you're like, I'm gonna regret this. But if I don't finish, she'll tell her friends, and then I won't be able to fuck any of them.
Won't be your last regret, right?
Lord knows. I pray.
There's plenty to come.
I pray I have more regret. So on a lighter note, while we're saying this, I want to throw out to my cousin. I don't know if he's listening or not. So our grandfather that I never do, I guess, passed when my father was like 16-ish at 42. My uncle Jack, who my son is named after by any means, he's in a nursing home, but he had his first strokes at 42, and now my cousin is 42, and he had was on the onset of cardiac arrest or something, and they flighted him and put a stent in a major artery behind his heart.
But he's
it was 100%. Yeah, he's stable now, but he was 100% blocked.
Issues.
Yeah, and there's other clots that they got to go back and whatever, but they put a stent in, and it started out as a stomach ache and a headache and then whatever. So I always get sentimental, and we've discussed this on here before, about mortality in general.
And men and just people close to you,
right? But 42 seems to be the magic number, and I'm 38. And I'm
close.
Yeah, and I'm like, maybe I ought to go and get this checked out.
Maybe I should take care of myself.
Yeah, and I go on those streaks for a while. Like I'll work out for 6 or 8 weeks, or I'll eat healthy for 2 or 3 days. It never sticks. Between work stress, sleep, work, it's just. Should I meal prep or should I go for a motorcycle ride? And I'll tell you,
the motorcycle's right there.
Right. And my grandmother, she walked to work, she walked after dinner, she ate healthy, she was conscious of everything, she took care of her teeth, she was meticulous in her retirement planning. She did everything by the book right. Should have said she's going to live to 90. And as soon as she retired at like 62, 6 months later, she started getting sick, and I think they gave her a few years to live, if I remember right. And she lived 12. Now, granted, out of that 12, the last 8-10 months she was alive, she was in a bed. She had surgery, and then it was just they tried to do rehab,
And you hate watching that.
yeah, I mean, and by the time she passed, she was ready to go. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And,
God, I would be too.
well, right, you lay in a bed for 8 or 10 months and you're just like, okay. Quality of life
Sorry,
versus
guys.
quantity of life.
This is over.
Yeah, I'm ready.
moving on.
And she waited long enough till her last sister came into town and said goodbye.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then she passed during their visit. It was really, if you can't, if anybody will tell you that's watched somebody go through that, like that, in that particular situation, you can't tell me that the body doesn't have some sort of mental control over going,
Yeah.
okay, now I'm ready.
No, we had a very, very similar situation with my grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, to the point, like, you know, we didn't know if we were going to make it to the hospital in time,
Right.
you know, but we got there. I was able to, you know, say my goodbyes and hold his hand for a while, rub his shoulder, you know, try to comfort him. And I was watching him and I was like, God, this guy's just, he's on the edge, you know?
Right.
And I mean, he didn't know anybody was there, I don't think.
Right.
He was out of it. But it was, we were waiting on, would have been his brother-in-law and my grandma's sister, right?
Right.
So we were waiting on them to get there, and well, they're not going to make it, you know. And they made it. 10 minutes later, maybe not even 10 minutes later, he was gone. I mean, it was like,
In that generation, they were
He
closer.
waited.
Like that was their lives.
and
Their
those four people spent so much time together.
Right.
They took vacations together. They spent every, you know, probably a lot of evenings together, and if not every
Right.
weekend at least, you know. And so when you thought of one, you thought of the other, and you know, kind of that kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, it was just one of those kind of, you know, they showed up, and he was like, "All right,
I said my piece. I'm out.
everything's good. I'm out." You know, and he was 72, and I was 18. It was senior year. And I remember that like it was yesterday.
I got a call, and of course I was going up every Sunday to see my grandmother, and I got a call, and I sat here on the couch in my house for about 10-15 minutes thinking, can I make it and make it to the mail route? Can I make it and make it to the mail route?
Right.
And I said, fuck it, I'll be late, and I went. And as I walked in, she literally, like I touched her and her body was still warm. It was that close. Had I not sat here, him hawing around wondering what if.
Right.
And granted, I'd said goodbye to her on Sunday. Not like goodbye, but I went out there and we spent the day together and we watched, she'd been put on hospice and we watched her favorite movie, which was Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
I went out, and Hastings was still open at the time. I went out and bought the one copy they fucking had.
Right.
Paid a ridiculous price for it, you know, because it was in a
Whatever.
commemorative box. Yeah.
We're watching this.
Yeah, whatever makes her happy.
Yeah.
And went up there and watched with her, and she slept through basically half of the last half of the first one. She woke up for the second and was in and out for it. But,
Yeah.
and just because she was tired, not because she was like,
Right.
loopy,
Right.
you know. But that was a life lesson to me because I just thought, if I wouldn't have sat here and been so indecisive about being decisive, I would have got that moment. So sometimes in life, you just gotta fucking say, "What do I want?" If you're questioning whether or not, you already know the answer.
Right.
Fucking just do it.
Yep. And dude, I'm the same way.
Because you're trying to do what's right.
I've
to be
had a few
sensible.
times like that, and
Mhm.
it's like I'm kind of at that age now. I'm just like, fuck it. If it means something, I'm gonna fucking be there.
Right.
You know,
You're gonna
like
whether it's that or whether it's a decision or
work or whatever.
work.
it's gonna
One,
wait.
yeah.
You know, that all's
You
gonna
just
wait.
gotta go.
It's and my grandma, very similar situation. And I was actually I was on my way to work, and I was like, no, I should go ahead and go by there because we knew she was in bad shape.
Right.
We knew she wasn't gonna last long,
Mhm.
right? And very much like you said, and I was like, fuck. I turned around, come back to town, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna be late, guys. Sorry, you know,
Yeah.
I'll be there
What are you gonna do?
whenever, right?
Yeah.
I was like, things are happening, and luckily at that job they were very understanding,
Right.
you know, for a few different things that I had to go through, but so I knew that they were going to be okay. But anyway, so I went and sat with her for a while, say goodbye, and I was like, okay, this isn't gonna last long, whatever. I hung out with. I don't know if she had to know I was there, I guess, but maybe. She couldn't respond to anything. She was kind of morphined up at the time.
Yeah.
And
which you'd rather have that.
I would rather have that than in pain.
Right.
But yeah. And talked to Mom for a little bit, and I was like, I gotta go. I was like, I hope everything goes well. Not goes well, but you know what I mean. It was like
peaceful.
I forget what I said, but it was something along the lines of, I'm glad I was here to say goodbye, blah blah. And it wasn't lunchtime. She was gone. I mean, it was literally like an hour later. She was gone, and so it's like I'm really glad I took that time to go sit with her. Hold her hand.
Even if it wasn't completely aware of her, at least you got to say your piece.
I had my closing.
Right.
Yeah.
And that as a human being, at some point in her life, she's had that too, where she got to at least say her piece.
Yeah.
And and that's, I gotta be honest. If you're really, and I know you're on the fine line here, but if you're really a Christian and they're going to a better place, or even in your situation where you're not necessarily an atheist but closer to it, and that they are unaware.
I knew that she knew she was going to a better place.
Right.
Which was good enough for me.
Right.
Right.
Because that's all you got.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's all you got.
If it ends here, or if she goes there,
right,
she's happy with what's going to happen.
Right. She's come to her piece.
Right.
Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to go.
Right.
In a sense, let go.
Yeah.
Unless a life's taken split second.
Those are the hardest.
Most people have got to have a sense of closure to themselves. Of I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And let go. Otherwise, those are those people that hang on for years, like that gal in Florida and fucking come. What was her name? Terry.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Sure. Yeah, I remember.
And
that.
the husband was like,
that was a long
"Can
time.
we kill it now? Because I've got this hot 20-year-old blonde.
Yeah.
That's my D."
This is my closure.
Coincidentally, she's also
open.
Right. I mean, can you blame the guy? He spent so many years of his life waiting for this to come back. He reached the realization that it wasn't happening. He was ready to move on with his life, which that's all we got.
And I think she was
even
ready
if you're
too.
Christian, that is all we have guaranteed. Was the moment is right here, right now.
And that thing, man, why was that a national discussion? Like I remember that now, but like why? Why was that an issue?
Well, especially considering because her power of attorney
was all like legal, I guess, because my uncle was basically brain dead.
Right.
Kind of a similar situation, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember all the specifics of that one. But yeah, she don't remember either. Sorry. But the family decided, okay, he's not going to make it. The doctor says he's not going to make it. This is no quality of life.
Right.
Pull the book, and which is a terrible decision to make, but you have to make it. And
right.
At the time, I think it was the right decision to make. He wasn't coming back from what he was, and he had gone through so much by that point that it was like, okay, we're done here.
He's holding on for us at this point.
Well, he was on machines.
Right.
I mean, it was if they unplugged him, he was going to go.
So he was
being
ready.
kept alive.
Right.
Yeah.
For the people that cared about him.
Right. Yeah.
That seems kind of selfish when you really think about it. I mean, not as an insult. I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm saying when you really think, like, would you want to be there? It's like, listen, fuckers, I gotta go.
I got a tea time in heaven.
There's 78 virgins waiting on the other side. I'm Christian. Turns out I was wrong the whole time. There's titties up there.
I can see them. They're right there.
I gotta go. If you hold me here any longer, at least 36 of them are not gonna be virgins by the time I get
I
there.
ain't got one virgin
I
on
gotta
earth.
go.
God damn it, they're right there.
Your aunt was a whore. Let me go. That's horrible. I don't know.
I picked her up on a rebound. Holy shit.
She was at the bowling alley. I found her passed out in the gutter. Like, literally, on aisle 9. She just stumbled out there and
She
passed
pulled the
out.
last 2 dicks out, and I was like, "You're mine."
I got the cream pie, ergo I won the prize. I think I just gave away what I watched on Pornhub.
Oh.
You
And now,
nasty bastard.
You see how our conversations go.
It starts at the
This
rip,
is the
and
roller
then slowly
coaster.
heartfelt, deep,
Oh, definitely. Deep.
pensive, and then ballsy, and then ballsy. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
If I ever come to a point where I find a woman I want to marry, I'm going to be like, you need to sit down and listen to the first 25 and a half episodes.
This is
if
me.
you still like me at this point.
Because this is what
I'm going to
it
put
is.
a ring on your finger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Get to know me. Here it is.
I don't cook, I don't clean, but I got a dick that'll hit your spleen. You know what I'm saying?
It'll rearrange you.
Ever tell you about the time I fucked a girl and she lost an ovary?
Oh, wow.
Did I tell you about that?
I sent a girl to the doctor, right?
Yeah, the emergency room.
Wow.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you about that?
Yeah.
I think, did we do that
I
on
think
this
we.
episode?
Well, I don't think we talked about it, but
Okay, so,
you and I talked about it.
right, so I fucked her,
Yeah.
and I want to emphasize the fuck in that one. I fucked her, and it was pretty normal for her to roll over in the what am I wanting to say, the fetal position and go, my stomach hurts afterwards. So she did that, I didn't think too much. She vomited twice overnight.
Wow.
The next day she laid around, and I was like, well, I feel bad, I should probably take care of her.
Really give it to her.
Well, I thought I did, and then by the end of the day, it was, I need to go to
Wait.
the ER.
Whoa.
Whoa.
You were with her the next morning?
I know. Well, I felt bad. I had a moment of consideration.
I know you all are thinking the same thing.
Right.
Wait a second.
I'm
Wait
kinda
a
the
second.
same.
You weren't out the
Like we
door.
watched Back to the Future, I remembered when her. I was hoping for round 2. Let's be honest.
If you're gonna get it,
Here's some super. Can I put it in your pooper? Write that down. So then she ends up in the ER. They find out that her ovary is twisted.
she lived, right?
She lived.
Okay.
Yeah, so they find out her ovary is twisted. They send her into surgery. They say it's going to be 45 minutes.
Wow.
I communicate with her family at this point.
Shit.
Yeah, that was.
This is an awkward
So,
situation.
by the way, your daughter is.
What we got here?
Yeah. So, long story short, they were like, we think we can save it. Usually, if we just untwist them, the blood flow returns. Sometimes we lose them. It's a 50-50 chance. 45 minutes, nothing. An hour and a half goes by. I'm like starting to get concerned.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, did I
twice?
Did I puncture something?
Oh shit.
Like, I don't think my dick is definitely not that big.
Did I fuck a girl to death?
Yeah. Let me get in the paper. So, back when I was,
You're like, please let her live,
Yeah.
but
tag me on Facebook.
The hospital doesn't do that, by the way.
Oh, I was just hoping for the news press.
Oh, these yeah, they'll do it.
Yeah, they'll do it. So, long story short, they come out. The doctor's like, "Look, are you hurt?" I'm like, "No, I'm not. We're not married. No." And she's like, "Okay. Well, here's the deal.
Somebody's got to make a decision.
She was asking for you. I was like, she was last night too. And
Well, she was asking.
no, she was asking for it.
That's how we got
here.
this
And she goes. So we untwisted her ovary and we waited, and then she goes, we untwisted it 2 more times. That fucker was twisted around 3 times, and they had to remove it.
No blood flow.
No blood flow. It was black. She showed me the pictures,
What?
and there was black tissue in there where I had.
I mean, I heard blackface.
When you're
Black
fucking a girl,
ovary?
oh yeah, when you're fucking a girl and you can literally hear her guts going. You're just hoping that it's the right thing to do because
I'm
at that
turning
point,
you up.
yeah, that's the Amish shit. I do really turn that, eh? It took me, there was a moment while I was fucking her where it took me back to the butter churn my grandmother had by the front door that she said, "Don't do that, you'll pinch a finger." Turns out, I did do some damage. But now, whether, who knows, she could have been into yoga, done some flips. I don't know. It could have been a situation that was there before I entered the picture.
But you took care of it.
But I'm telling myself over the years, I'm just telling myself that was all me.
Oh, yeah.
That was me.
Oh, yeah.
I was stirring some guts, if you know what I mean.
Definitely.
So if anybody wonders why I'm a narcissistic, arrogant asshole, I put a girl in the hospital with my dick. I'm just...
Fuck yeah. Hell, I'd claim that for the rest of
Yeah,
my life.
and I didn't get charges pressed. Let me just clarify that. I put a girl in the hospital with my dick. There was no charges.
She was okay with it.
Yeah, and it is what it is.
She was like, I deserved that.
I deserved that. I was sassy.
Wow.
He punctured my guts.
You should have married that girl.
You can't even make eye contact with me after saying that. You're like, oh, Catholic guilt.
This is not happening.
Oh, fuck.
I love Captain Morgan. Anyway, that's good. I got no story like that at all. However, when our first child was being born, we had an emergency C-section, and I thought she was going to die then.
That's a shitty moment.
Because they say, they're rolling her away and go, "You stay here." And I was like,
What way?
That's my wife and my kid.
Mine.
Mine.
Right. Mine.
That was probably the scariest hour of my life.
Of your marriage.
Definitely our marriage. But then because of the what word am I even thinking of? Because of the condition.
Right.
The next child was pre-scheduled for a C-section.
C-section, yeah.
Right.
They took the safe way.
She had an issue called placenta accreta, I think is the word. And
was that like Rocky 2? Or like
I don't know. Was
Apollo Creed, whatever.
Whatever. Take your pick. It was between 1 and 7.
That's what I told her too.
But it was an issue, and I had never heard of this thing. And she did some research later. It was like, oh shit, people die from this. And I was like,
She didn't even realize she was that close.
so they tell you when you're having your baby, they say you'll get the urge to push.
Right.
You get the urge to push.
Like
So
poop.
you gotta poop, right? You get the urge. You gotta push, right?
Mhm.
She never got the urge. She never got the urge. And they were like, you gotta get the urge. You gotta push. And she's like, I don't have the urge.
Yeah, if you don't
Matter
got
of
it, you
fact,
don't got it.
It hurts when I try, right?
Right.
And they were like, oh, just try it. And then they pulled the sheet back and blood everywhere. And they were like, okay. And they covered her up and said, we're going. And I was like,
What?
what?
Yeah.
I'm 21 going, I don't know anything. What the fuck's going on? Somebody tell me something.
I've only been masturbating a few years.
I'm having like playbacks of like women dying in childbirth.
like a Little House on the Prairie shit.
I'm losing my wife and my child. Holy shit. And I'm standing in the hallway. And luckily my mom was there, who was
a nurse.
and was like, well, maybe it's this and this, you know. And I was like, oh god, fuck. I don't know. I can't deal with this.
I should have pulled out.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, we didn't plan, but we kind of were ready at the time, you know?
Right.
So we were like, I guess
Hashtag American Dream.
right? We had a couple years on our own, and we're like, we're ready for a kid. And maybe she was planning. I don't know. I was just fucking. I was fucking when it was ready.
That's
I was
usually
like,
how it works.
when she said we're ready, I'm like,
Very
I am
ready.
always ready.
Yeah. Men are just fucking. Women are like,
Yeah.
oh, I want this now.
She came up to me the other day. She goes, maybe you should tell me when you're in the mood. And I was like, I'm always in the mood. If
Yeah.
you just say, I want to fuck, I'm in the mood.
I'm in the mood.
Just know I'm always in the mood.
In the mood.
Haven't I told you this?
Call
I
me
am
Dick on
always
Dial.
in the
I'm
mood.
ready to go. Yep. If a woman
I should be
initiates
mowing the yard, and you're like, "You want
titties
this?
on the glass,
Fuck yeah, I'm done.
yeah, it might be the last mow of the
I'm
season.
in,
The
yeah.
yard's gonna be
Fuck
half
it.
mowed
It's-
come January.
Yeah, fuck it. It's done.
I'm out.
Even though it's June now.
I'm out. You can distract me every time I pull the mower out.
That
I don't give a
jungle is
fuck.
growing,
Yeah.
boys.
Welcome to Jungle Land, bitch.
At this age, we take it when we get it, right?
Right. Right.
And I'm like, you just, whenever you're in a mood, you just like jump on me. I'm
Yeah.
fine with it.
Yeah, you spit on it. I don't give a shit.
Grab it and do what you want. I don't care.
As long as I'm present, that's all I care.
Yeah, just make sure I'm here.
Yeah, wake me up halfway through even. I don't care. If you start with my fingers and wake me up for the rest, I'm still good with
I'm
it.
fine with it. Just wake me up.
Just wake me
So
up.
that I know this happened. I can mark
Wake
it off.
me up before you go, girl.
Or before you come.
You know, no, Jack's mom went through similar. It was her third.
Oh, wow.
And it went from like, oh, my contractions are still 13, 14. And there I am going Trump again. My contractions are still 13, 14 minutes apart. And I was like,
14.
yeah, she's like, and it was to the point where
Tremendous
he
amounts.
was over, yeah, tremendous. Well, we might be ready, we might not. Either way, we're going to finish.
People are saying
Yeah.
that this is going to take forever, or maybe tomorrow. I don't know.
I don't know.
This is-
I don't know. This is just what
I
they're
think
telling me.
now.
I'm ready
but
now, but
maybe
this is what they're
tomorrow.
telling
Maybe
me.
later. Maybe later.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, like I supported, my political views,
Right, yeah.
but at the same time, I make fun of everybody.
Oh my god.
Well, I won't say everybody. I'll say most people. I don't like the people in my bubble. I'm pretty protective.
Right.
of, but
I'm like, he's not my friend.
yeah,
Same with Biden.
it's business.
It's like,
it is what it
Biden
is.
saying, I don't care. Like, you're not my friend.
Right. I
I'll
will
make
say
fun of
everybody
you.
calls Trump a bully, and I get where they're coming. He is a narcissistic asshole. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He spent his whole life getting everything he wants anytime he asks for it. What else do you expect out of a guy? Other than that, it's just business. He doesn't give a fuck what anybody thinks. Now, Biden, I've seen several, like a dozen videos of him calling people names, poking them in the chest, telling them to sit down and shut up. That, to me, is being a bully.
Yeah.
That being said, that is not a that's not a party affiliation to me. That's just, this guy is an asshole, and I appreciate him for being an asshole. This guy is picking on people, and that pisses me off. And you can go either way, that's my opinion.
I'm going to go on record. Biden's not my guy.
Right, but you knew if you voted for your guy, our vote would not count.
Right.
I mean, because let's be honest, I would bet if you
My
really,
guy's John
if
Wayne.
you really gave everybody that was like Joe Jorgensen, everybody, if you gave them
Right.
all the same amount of time on media and went off of popular vote, not electoral,
Yeah.
and they all got the same airtime and they all got the same support level,
Right.
then I would bet 90% of people would not be voting for Democrat or Republic. They'd be voting for a person.
Yeah. Oh, I am
Just a
so
thought.
tired of parties.
Oh yeah, and our forefathers, they thought
hated
the
it.
bipartisan part
They
was
thought it
going
was
to be the
dumb.
death of the country, and that's exactly what it's bringing to.
It's-
Because in the last
yeah.
20 years, we're getting further and further apart until we are going to explode.
Right.
That's
And
what it
we were
is.
talking about being the youngest country.
Right,
We might be the youngest country to go away.
right. It's just because somebody's going to step in. They're going to be like, "Hey, while y'all been bickering over whose dick's bigger, you owe us money."
Yeah.
Okay. That means we're going to take
By the
your
way,
shit.
we're the superpower now.
Yeah. Look over here, Elma. But what I'm saying,
Yeah.
back to the baby falling out of the vagina. Yeah, she was a day or two afterwards, and the doctor had been like, if it's not out by now, we're going to schedule a C-section. And I said, no. And I was a dick about this. Call me a misogynist if you want. It's me protecting my bubble, my family, my offspring.
Right.
You can call me whatever name you want. I don't give a shit. It's my right.
Just call
It's
you
her.
Brent.
It's her body. Yeah, it's what's expected out of me. It's her body. I get that. I respect a woman's body. At the same time, I have a really hard time, and this goes back to men's rights. As far as abortions go, as far as childbirth goes, I understand it's her body paying the dues. If it comes down to health, obviously there's a decision to be made.
Right.
If it's just like parental rights, that life inside her belongs as much to me as it does to her. Do you know why? Because if it falls out fiscally, it's as much my responsibility as it is hers. So unless it's putting her health at danger, I feel like I have as much as right to that baby as anything. So when the doctor said we're scheduling a C-section, I said no. I said hundreds of years have gone by, babies fall out when they're ready. Unless it's hurting her health, unless it's damaging her body, he'll come out when he's ready. It's bread. It's a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
When it's ready, you pull it out.
When it's ready, it's done.
It's done. It is what it is. You can't force it. It's nature. Fucking appreciate it or get the fuck out of the business. Right. If she starts bleeding, obviously there's an issue, and I would vote for her life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so it was the day after that, and they said, we're going to schedule a C-section. Fucking what do you know? 36 hours later, the baby, he was in the chute. And when I say in the chute, we went from 13 to 15 minute contractions to, she's like, yeah, it's 13 to 15 minutes. I was like, well, I'm going to jump in the shower real quick. So we're talking about a 5 to 7 minute shower. By the time I got it out, she was like, my last contraction was 6 minutes ago. I was like, so you had one when I got in the shower, and when I stepped out, you had another one? She's like, yeah. So we're in the car, and I'm driving like flashers on like 90 miles an hour.
Here's your bag. Let's go.
Yeah, and the car was packed, and we fucking went.
Yeah.
And we got there, and her legs were shaking. At this point, within like, you're talking, I made it from Savannah to St. Joe to the hospital in under 12 minutes.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I was all
yeah.
Yeah.
There's times to call for that.
Right. I'm like, what are you going to do? Pull me over? I'll stop when I get there.
Yeah, you catch me when we get there.
Yeah.
I'll stop. And I'll
when
talk
I get
to you.
there.
But we're going to wait.
We're going to get there. Yeah, so we walked in, and they put her in a wheelchair. Well, I walked in. They got a wheelchair. They put her in. Her legs shaking. And the lady comes over with a clip bar. Yes. No, ain't gonna do it. And the lady was like, can you sign these forms? And the doctor or the nurse was like, can we wait on those? And I was like,
time to sign
yeah, her legs are doing this. Okay.
That baby is...
He is bungee cording out the bridge.
Drowning.
Yeah. So we get in there, and at this point, there's still a little slimmer hope to me because at this point, as a first-time father, unplanned pregnancy, there was a little piece of me going, God, I hope it's a watermelon or it's black. Like, there's just this little part of me that's like, it's not really a baby or it's not really mine.
Shit.
And they're like, come down and look at it. And I'm like, no, that's okay. I want to keep the mystery alive.
I mean, you guys
they're
are
like,
still
come down and
together
look
at
at
the
it.
time.
Right. And then they're like, but come down and look at it. I'm like, no. No.
Like, I'm not
gonna
make this thing before it gets out.
Yeah, and the lady pulls my shirt sleeve, and I peek down there, and I basically see a giant raisin poking out of a swollen vagina.
It's fucking ugly, man.
Oh yeah, dark hair, and it's all wrinkled.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
you don't want to see
what is that? A gigantic walnut? Like, what the fuck is that?
You're like, how am I gonna fuck that later?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I did not sign up for this. I guess it's anal from now on. And then at that point...
No, it rips all the way through sometimes.
Oh, it did. The smell of blood and placenta and poo.
Yeah,
and I'm just like... Everybody's like, pregnancy, I don't know who the...
beautiful.
Even a fucking hippie cannot tell me pregnancy is beautiful. Because I seen it, and there was nothing beautiful about that.
Pregnancy's alright. The birth is...
The baby afterwards, where you're like, oh, that's my offspring. But those, like...
Clean it up first.
That labor shit is
Go
not
over there and
beautiful.
clean it up.
It's not beautiful. But somewhere in there, the mask, like the alarms went off, the masks fell out of the wall, and I'm like, whoa, what? And they're like, she needs oxygen, blah blah blah. The baby's,
man.
And my situation was nowhere near as stressful as yours. But there, as a new father, as men, we don't no clue what the fuck's going on.
We're just along for the ride.
Yeah, we're just wee.
Yeah, exactly.
And there was that moment where I was like, shit, she's gonna die and I'm gonna have to raise this baby alone. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Oh my God, what the hell am I gonna do? And women have like this process, the whole thing, they feel it growing, the hormones are kicking in. I feel it kicking, it's a live thing. They have like 6 to 9 months. They got 3 months of emotional, and then the last 6 they actually know it's there. They feel it. It's right. They have this connection period. We as fathers,
it starts
after
there.
Right. When you see that,
when
you see the giant raisin coming out of the swollen punani,
yeah,
that's when you're like, oh shit. That's really something in there. She's just not bloated.
Here's an interesting story, and I don't know if I'm supposed to tell this or not. But so I'm like you. I'm like, Father, man. Like, okay, I love it, you know, but but I'm like, I don't identify with it yet. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not. You know.
To you, it's an ideal. It's not reality.
Yeah. And so when it comes time when the baby's born, and I thought, honestly, I thought she was like everybody else, and I thought she's bonded with this thing. She's got that unconditional love already.
Right. To them, it's reality.
To her, it happened like, he'll be back. To her, it happened like after she held it.
Right.
So she had a C-section. She was put to sleep. Blah blah blah. She couldn't go see him until like that night. Right. So now we're talking like 6 hours later.
Right.
She hadn't even seen her kid yet. Right. I got to hold him. My mom got to see him. You know. And so she feels like her. And I was like, I'm sorry. Like
he'll never know the difference.
I didn't know that I was supposed to keep everybody away. I didn't know.
Right.
I was
How are you
just
supposed to know?
I was
every
along
woman
for,
would be
like I said,
different.
I was just along for the ride. I didn't know.
I know what I'm told at this point.
Yeah.
It ain't changing the oil or mowing the yard. I don't know.
With the second kid, with Michaela,
Uh-huh.
when she was being born, so they took her C-section. I was in the room at the time, and they were like, "Okay, do you want to hold her?" And I was like, "Well, at some point, but can I go with her first?" Because they were wheeling her out to recovery, and I was like,
Right.
"Well, I'm gonna go with her and be with her when she's in recovery." And they were like, I guess. And I was like, what do you mean? You guess? Like,
Can I trust you with this kid or not?
yeah, I was like, I don't know. Like, yes, I love it, but I don't know it. You know?
Right. I want to make sure my wife's
I love
okay.
her now, right?
Right.
Obviously, but like at the time, I'm like, I love her. Like,
Right.
she's my priority right now.
Right.
I want to be with her. I want to show her that I'm here. I want to comfort
Support
her somehow.
Right. As long as that baby's warm.
Yeah, you take care of this thing.
Right.
Not this thing, but you know what I mean. The baby.
Right.
You take care of her, and I'll take care of her.
Mhm.
You know. And
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing here. I know what I'm doing here.
I know what I'm doing there.
Let me do my thing.
You do this.
Right.
And but did you put any of that in there yet?
Oh yeah.
Okay, just make sure. I thought so, but
You're gonna be well lubricated, my friend. It's gonna be good.
it's a
I
good
don't know
night,
what's
isn't
coming
it?
tonight, tomorrow.
good
I don't know,
night.
but right now you're lubricated.
Oh, it's Friday. That's okay.
No, I think that's different for men than it is women.
Yeah.
It just is.
And man. Now, speaking of my kids, I want to say a couple things about my kids. My son is 17. Like I said, he's getting into the election.
Right.
He just got his first layoff.
Oh no! What happened?
Oh, it's just they run out of work, you know? And she's like, he's bummed, and I was like, I've been laid off like 10 times. It's just part of the work experience.
Yeah.
Like, you just get laid off.
Right.
You know? Shit, I was getting laid off when we were married. Like, not, let alone when we were just like in high school.
When he was crowning.
Yeah, I was getting laid off like years into our marriage. Like, you know, I mean, taking contracting jobs and shit. Like,
we
lay you off.
We didn't even realize we were growing up in such a shit part of the economy. I don't think.
Right.
We were just ignorant to it.
But there were
we were just like,
jobs,
oh,
I
this is
mean-
what it is. Oh, you'll pay me for 3 days?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I'll take that. I'll go churn up her
You mean it's
horse
no
hooves
guarantee?
to make glue.
Yeah,
Sure,
you mean,
whatever.
you mean it's temporary? There's no benefits? It's unsecured for how many? Take it.
Sweet. We're not tied down to each other.
Awesome.
All right, I'm
Yeah. Which is
That
ironic
was
because
my
you got
thing.
married so young.
I was
Me,
19.
on the other hand, I've been a complete commitment vote. Like, I didn't want a car loan. I didn't want a marriage.
You were-
I didn't want.
Well, so
And
this-
now, Yeah, you want to hear what's ironic?
Yeah.
This is going to sound stupid. I may not be completely correct on this, but according to the plat book, I'm the 4th largest landowner in the city of Savannah, next to the city itself.
Nice.
And I'm like, I didn't
That
even.
should be a cheers,
I was
right?
nervous about a
Should be a
home
cheers.
loan.
Should be a cheers, huh?
And I'm not saying that to flex. That's not like I'm a bragging point. That's like me going, I'm 38 and I've never been married, but
Yeah.
somehow, like,
I'm growing my empire.
yeah.
But New Year's Eve.
Like I was self-conscious about my tummy fat, but I walked around with my dick out all night.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Like
Yeah.
most people are like, marriage, I love this girl, let's do it. But I don't want to open a business and rely on myself for income and to supporting my children. No. I'm on the other hand, I'm like out here like, listen, I'm gonna jump off the bridge, but I'm really nervous about these buckles. Like, people are already drawing their second, third.
I didn't know where you were going with that.
Second and third divorces, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm out here like, yeah, I'm nervous about dedicating my life to one vagina. But I'm gonna bank my
Can I
whole,
just
my
die at the
whole
end of this?
financial existence on this random deal.
Oh shit. I don't know where we're going with this anymore.
And okay, I really, just to reemphasize, I don't want to sound like an arrogant asshole. People
But
may
you
think
are.
that. I don't care if people think. I don't care if people think that. The people that are important to me, I would never say something like that to be like, my dick's bigger than yours.
Right.
It's just like, how did I fucking step into this hole? But I've been afraid to dedicate putting my dick into one woman for this long. Like it seems like such a minuscule
maybe-
thing, vice versa. Like
I feel like maybe one is because of the other, you know?
like maybe like I get the
Maybe
thrill out of it, whatever.
You got this
Right.
because you weren't that.
That's probably very true.
Now,
Like, I've always
that's
kinda
a-
got a
That's
boner.
a drunk assessment.
Like-
but I think I had that assessment when I was sober.
Well, you've heard, like, we've discussed some of the stories on this podcast.
Yeah.
You know 120% more of the stories than what we put on the air.
Yeah.
And there's times where I put myself in positions where you're like, why did you even try that? And how did it work out? Granted, it's usually really stupid shit.
Roll the dice.
Right, but it's like, I'm out here like, I'm gonna lay this on the track. Last possible second I can pull it off before the train squishes it.
Right.
But over here, I'm like, lottery ticket? No, I'll save my $2.
Right.
Like, there's just that point of idiocracy in my head that I don't even understand. I wish it was different. I don't know. What do you mean, have sex with the hottest woman ever with the best sex, reviews ever, but she's got herpes? Should you do it? I don't know. It's worth the risk. How about this over here? She'll pledge her life to you, and she's...
Herpes is treatable.
And she's got a super wealthy dad. No.
Oh, wait.
I'll take the whore with the herpes. I got a good chance of finishing over here. There's some
I'm gonna have
women
to-
that actually apply to that,
Yeah.
that
Right.
metaphorical.
I'm gonna stop you there. I gotta piss. Like, terrible. And I
Terry Bradshaw.
don't know if I can get it without...
Spit on it.
Shit.
Rub it a little.
Oh. It just came all of a sudden. Sorry. Alright.
Wa-da-da-da-da.
I made it.
This reminds me of a Billy Joel song.
Hey, yeah.
This is the time. Does anybody else ever feel like you're talking to yourself? I wonder if I can throat this whole microphone. I'm pretty sure he's just playing with himself at this point. I don't know. Here's the thing. By this time of the night, this drunk, I usually feel like something to eat. But it's really too late to get up and make something, and you people are fucking watching me. So I can't really get up and go eat right now. And the fact that I'm staring at myself in the camera makes me feel rather large. Just waiting. Just you and me. Hanging out. I swear, John must have a 14-gallon penis. You know, like the Texas hats, like the cowboy hats where they're like this fucking tall and they're 10 gallons? That's what his dick must look like, because he's been peeing in there for a solid 3 minutes. And that's not me bitching. That's just me bragging on a friend. I don't know. This is probably why his wife had problems giving birth. Was because his D was so large that he literally ruined the vagina. He ruined the vagina. I don't know. I haven't heard this, but other people have heard this, and they've told me, and I don't know. I don't know what's happened, but they probably ruined it, and they had to surgically remove the kid because his D was so big that it ruined the vagina. In the beginning. It's always great when you can hear your buddy peeing by himself in the bathroom and he's giggling.
I heard bits and pieces of what you're saying. I was just like, oh, fuck. I'm going to have to edit the hell out of this thing.
You don't. You leave that whole fucking segment in there.
I was hearing you just talking. I was like, what is he saying? He's got the biggest fucking dick. What the fuck? I just started laughing. I was like, oh, shit. Everything. I hear like bits and pieces. He started singing. I was like, oh, shit.
Here's the thing. If I'm drunk alone, this is still the same conversation. It's still happening. You might be 30 miles away. Josh might be 200 miles away. It's still the same conversation. It's like you're here. You're in the cockles of my heart.
Oh, man. Thank you. I'll save that for later.
That's what she said when she walked out. Little did she know I had a vasectomy, so I didn't care.
It's 11 o'clock. Probably.
We should probably wrap this up. What are we at now?
It's, well, an hour minus my piss.
And minus the what? 40?
Whatever we got.
Whatever
at
we
least
got on there.
30 minutes, 40 minutes on that.
Yeah. Here's the thing, guys. In all this election,
This is a fun episode.
Yeah, this is a drunk we don't give a fuck episode. But here's the thing: out of all the argumentation, the election bullshit, drama in life, it seems like everybody I talk to right now is kind of having like just an off.
Yeah.
Period.
Let's just get it over with.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't care.
This is what y'all need, whether you realize it or not. It's like that rough sex you didn't see coming. Sometimes it just feels good.
Yeah.
There's
And then sometimes she ends up in the ER.
There was no charges filed, and she was asking for me after.
No charges.
I count that
except
as a
for
win.
the ER.
Except for the bill. Yeah. I don't know. I never really asked how much that turned out to
really?
be.
Well,
I mean, my dick could be the $200,000 dick. Like, not the $1 million man, but I'm like,
I'll take the
I'm like the Goodwill dick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was 25% of the original price.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't make a TV show, but they made a short infomercial about 1 o'clock in the morning after Saturday Night Live. Do you love the oldies? How about these records? You remember this good tune?
No, it has to be like the infomercial where everything is so much harder. And so they're like, do you hate being fucked wrong?
Can we just go Flex Seal with this?
But you like
I'm
being
gonna
fucked
put a
wrong.
hole. I'm gonna put a hole in this bowl, and I'm I'm gonna compare it to wrapping Saran wrap around it and fixing it correctly.
Speaking of Saran wrap,
Dental dam.
when you run out of condoms.
Do you remember when they told us in health class, like, if you run out of these, use a Saran wrap? If that doesn't date us for sex ed, I don't know what does.
Hey, never mind.
Although I will say, so I've got a younger gentleman, very nice, very intelligent, and a postal employee hit on him, and another postal employee texted me and said, "Hey, fair warning, your employee's getting this hit on." And I'm like, so I text him and I'm like, "Look, don't bang her. She's had more cowboy dick in her than a 5-year-old sheep." And
he's like, "I don't know what you're talking
he's
about."
like, what makes you tell me that now? I was like, "Look, Lindbergh told me." I was like, "Look, it's your business. You want to bang her, that's fine. Just, I'm telling you, wrap it and doing it at her house." "Well, why would I take her to her house?" I'm like, "Why am I teaching you about life? You have some sort of engineering or master's or some kind of elevated degree. If I'm telling you not to bang a girl at your house, you should know what I'm saying. You don't want her to know where you live. Tell her your name is Frank."
Yeah.
Like, what do I need to explain?
She already knows
here?
my name and my address and my phone number.
Right.
You're like, "Fuck, you're done.
You're done. You're out, man." So I'm like, "Look, you do what you cop what you want." I'm just trying to, bros before hoes, hashtag. Like, I hate to be corny, but like, I'm passing this on. And I don't know where I was going with this story because I've had too much to drink. But what I'm saying is, like, it's nice to be at that point in life where you're kind of like passing it on. You're telling somebody what they need to hear. And that's what I feel like this episode was. Just us saying random shit that
There's some random shit you might need
to hear,
in
and you
life.
don't even know you need it. Like, you need to laugh a little.
Yeah.
And if it's because you're laughing at my dick putting some girl in the hospital.
Hey, this
It is what it
episode has
is.
been quite a roller coaster.
Yeah, and like our elections.
Yeah, you never know from one minute to the next
Uh-oh.
what's gonna happen. Oh man.
Oh, shit. Good
If
times.
this ain't an episode for the times.
25 and a half. I don't know why I'm hashtagging now. 25 and a half.
That'll be a t-shirt.
With the two hands going. There's the shocker,
Yeah.
the spocker, and the
Whatever you call that. Whatever we decide to call it.
hashtag hash browns? No, hashtag hash browns. Is what I said. Waffle House? Like when you're drunk? No.
Yeah.
Hashtag. You mean the pound sign? Pound me too.
Pound
Yes,
me
that's
too.
right.
Yeah, that one.
That one.
Oh, man.
AOC, you can lick my nutsack.
She could.
Oh, and that's the thing. I
You know,
would totally
as
grudge
liberal as
fuck
she is.
the shit out of her. I would grudge fuck the shit out of her. I swear to God, I'd make her wear a ball gag, but I would grudge fuck the shit out of her.
She was a bartender. She's okay with
Yeah,
that.
like you can't tell me. Yeah, exactly. If I seen her at a bar, she would be, because I loved bartenders. Like back in the day, it was like the challenge. It was like the fucking challenge because I hear every bad line. If you can hook up with a bartender, your game has come full circle. What is this, Instagram shit? Right? Yeah. I don't
You
know.
gotta have the sun behind you.
It's come full circle. If you can pick up on a bartender and have a successful hookup, you know you're doing good. Your game's on point. You know what I'm saying?
They've heard it up.
Yeah.
Or at least all the marital bullshit. If you can call that all.
Oh, son, I've gone from coast to coast doing this shit. My favorite was Josh and I had actually rented a room at the, we decided to meet at the Sheridan in Kansas City, the one with the revolving top.
Yeah.
And we went in there,
At the
and we were like,
Hilton or
no, it's the Sheridan. It's the Sheridan. It was the Sheridan at the time we went, anyways.
the downtown.
Right.
Yeah.
And I dated a girl that was in the hotel industry, and she told me that this is when you do this. So we walked in there, and we were like, Josh hates heights. So I asked for the room on the tallest floor fucking possible.
The Hyatt Regency now. That's what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so
Okay.
he hates heights.
Okay.
So I was like, give me the room on the tallest floor you got. Oh, fuck yeah. It was like the 34th floor.
You get the
some
presidential
shit like
suite.
that.
You're like,
Yeah,
fucking
we were
shit.
one row under the revolving tom.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and so we get up there, and I'm like, we're like in this tall room, and he was like, we were gonna go to a bar, and we hadn't decided what bar, and I was like, well, look, we need to get started drinking if we're gonna get really shitty tonight. So let's go down to the hotel bar and pregame. He goes, okay. So we go down to the hotel bar. We're pre-gaming. We haven't got dressed to go out yet. So he's wearing overalls and a t-shirt. I'm wearing like
at the higher Regency.
yeah, I'm like old shitty jeans and a fucking and a t-shirt, right?
I love it.
About the time there's like us and one other guy in the bar. We've
Yeah.
had one drink. We're starting on our second. We're finally discussing what bar to go to. We're looking on our phones, whatever the fuck it was, and here comes a crowd of people in ball gowns,
What time of year was this?
tuxedos. I can't fucking remember.
Was it around Christmas time?
It was the Restaurant and Bar Association of Kansas City's convention. Every bar owner, restaurant owner, with their dates, their wives, their husbands, were
Nice.
all in, and they all just.
So
rolled
I asked
in.
because we used to go there for the locked-in Christmas party. When
Oh,
we were
yeah?
there.
No,
And
no.
I was like, yeah, I was
No,
like,
this was like
I
citywide,
love
like
that place.
east to west, fucking Lee Summit Independence, clear over to Overland Park, routing into one.
Yeah.
And there was a dude there that I'd seen on TV before doing commercials with
Right.
hair and or like artsy fartsy glasses. And
Yeah.
these two walk in and they sit at the corner beside us. And like I said, Josh is in overalls.
Oh,
And
you guys
they
are the
own,
country people at the bar.
yeah,
right?
and they own like fucking chicken wing restaurant. I don't fucking know. They own something. And we get to talking, and you know me, we're drinking, so I'm going.
Yeah, that's what we do.
I'm gabbing and I'm laughing and they're joking and we're cracking up and she is hot. And Josh and I looked at Josh and I was like, "Are you getting a swinger vibe?" He's like, "Oh, dude, you're not." And I was like, "Oh no, definitely."
No,
Like,
I
this,
am. I'm
this
just
guy is
asking.
like, "You want to gangbang my wife?" I mean, that is what he is laying out. And I'm like, dude, I was like, I gotta break the seal. I gotta go piss. So I go piss. While I'm gone, Josh just said, laugh, a few words here and there. They ask Josh some random question. He busts out his Merle Haggard voice.
Oh boy.
Hello. I mean, like Conway Twitty. Hello, darling.
How are you?
You know, and he's like busting this shit out. And I walk back into this woman and this man going,
We love you.
yeah, and Josh,
In your
I'm like,
overalls.
I'm like,
We're taking you home.
They take off to go take
Can
it.
we
And
keep
I'm like,
it?
I'm like, what did you do to that? And he's like, I don't know. And they come back and they're like, we didn't realize how deep his voice was. Like, he just laid out the panty fucking cracker in this
That's what I
shit.
do.
And so, at this point, they added him on Facebook.
Oh,
and
shit.
Like, they are like,
Oh shit.
yeah.
That's Overland Park official.
Oh, yeah. Like, I like backed out of that situation. Like,
Oh wow.
I would have loved to have been part of it, but I had to just, like, sometimes you don't want to cop, like, you want to cop guide.
Yeah.
Like you're just breeding the horses. you
Enjoy
know?
this shit.
Yeah. Here's to you, my friend.
Yeah.
But, that's got to be one of my favorite random, like, bartender. It wasn't quite bartender, but Josh was in there, man, he just, and at that point, I just got drunk and went to the room.
Fuck yeah.
I was like, I'm just gonna Scott home.
Just give me some whiskey and country music. We're good.
When
That's
you
what I
close
love
down
about-
a restaurant and bar association gathering in a hotel bar, we
Yeah.
never made it out of the hotel bar. We paid extravagant prices for drinks
Shit,
all
right?
fucking night long at this Hyatt Inn or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
You know, all
Oh.
night long and drank and partied with these restaurant owners, and they've got no idea. We're like, thank God I'm a country boy.
Right. That's us, man. Like
they never seen it coming, man. They got no idea who
they
this.
see us, they go, I don't know what to do with you,
They
but I
probably
like
thought
you.
we owned a fucking either a Waffle House or a Red Lobster. I don't know, but
He's probably got a ranch in
they
Texas.
included us the rest of the night. And I can't honestly tell you the amount of bullshit that we fed them.
Oh yeah.
But either way, they thought Josh was Merle Haggard's second cousin's brother's daughter. I don't even know.
You listen to that. You're welcome.
Yeah. Oh shit! It was a
Got
good
any
time.
reference or might have
Oh
been.
god, it was a good time.
So yeah, like I said, we used to go down there for the Christmas parties. When I worked at Lockton, this insurance company on the plaza.
The plaza,
And
yeah.
I was the most country person at that fucking place. And I'm not even that country, right?
Did you work in your pearl snaps?
Yeah, I did. And so, but for the Christmas party, they were like, you gotta dress up, right? So I'm like, alright, a nice white pearl snap shirt, right? But man, we would go in there and spend hours in there. I remember, goddamn, I wish I could remember some shit. I'll have to remember that the next time. But that hotel brings back some memories, that bar. I'm gonna cut that out because I can't remember. I can't remember shit. There were some good stories, but I can't remember any of them right now. All I remember is playing Golden Tee.
Playing what?
Golden Tee. The
Is
golf
that
tee.
like? Oh.
The arcade. The
See,
arcade golf.
I got confused with golden showers. That's my bad.
We're playing Golden Showers.
Like, I drank so much water that day, just preparing.
This has gone off
It was the
the
one time
rails.
when I was drinking, I didn't mind breaking the seal.
Really, we're better on whiskey than we are on rum. Oh, shit. Wow.
Fuck you, Captain.
Yeah. Oh, we love the captain.
Talk about a mutiny, huh?
It's funny whenever we go to a concert, I order a Captain and Coke, you order a Jack and Coke. And I'm like,
Dude,
he doesn't know what he's missing.
what concert was it that I picked up that little 21-year-old and she completed? She was
Tony LaRue.
And we drove her
We
home.
took her home.
No, that
Okay,
sounds bad.
that sounds bad.
bad.
We drove her to her apartment.
You sat in the truck.
And I, like, made fun of her the whole way.
And she had no fucking clue.
She was like playing all southern, and I was like, where are you from? She's like, Jersey. I was like, oh, okay.
That's right, she was
How
from
long you
Jersey.
been from Jersey, right?
Oh, fuck, I forgot the Jersey part, man.
She ain't lost her accent yet.
Oh, fuck.
I don't remember. But her
She
name
was
was
hot.
like Barbara or Susan or something. Like some old
I don't
name,
even
right?
remember. She was hot.
She was hot.
She was hot.
She was hot.
Brunette, tiny.
Brunette, kind of Latino looking.
Yeah, it had a nice little bubble butt, but it was like tiny.
You guys were like dancing all night. It was like, well, you were twirling anyway.
Was I pretending the whole red dirt dance thing?
Maybe.
All you gotta do with that is like, guys are like, oh yeah, swing dance. I'm like, you don't gotta take lessons. All
I
you
was
gotta do
listening
is
to the
last
music.
for like a minute.
I was listening to music.
It's kind of like a fight. Swing dancing is kind of like a fight. You only gotta last until they tap out. And they're like, okay, enough swirling. I'm getting sick.
Yeah.
I'm getting, and I'm like,
I'm
great.
a weird person at concerts, right? So like everybody gets all drunk and fucked up, and I'm like, listen to the fucking music. Wasn't that fiddle solo great? Yeah, might as well. Yeah. Oh, there's a little more left in there. Tap off. Top off. All right, that'll go.
This was for you.
We finished a bottle for you guys.
I feel like I just poured a 40 out for my homies. I'll see you when I get there. Why am I the only one laughing at this one? I hope you all are laughing. Do you remember that? Was
Yeah,
it Bone
yeah.
Thugs? Was it Bone Thugs?
Bone
I'll
Thugs.
see you when I get there.
That was it.
He went from Big John Saxon, Satan
says, bow down.
suck my balls, you dirty bitch.
Whatever.
That one you might need to edit out.
Whatever works. Right? Oh,
I'll
God.
see you when I get
This is a good thing. Anyway.
This could be a 2-part episode at the point
I
we're
don't
going.
know what we're going to do with this.
Either way,
They're going to wonder what the fuck's going on.
I'll finish.
We're finished.
Blame it on the election.
And this is all we got. This is all we got, man. Some rum, some Coke, a couple lines, no Coke, and friends. mine. Give it to me.
God, I wish I could be a woman to talk like you in bed. This is mine, give it to me.
You want me to be your woman in bed? Is that what you're saying?
If you could just record it and I can play it back. Just shut up, I got this recording, I'm gonna play. Instead of meeting a girl at a bar that says my name, calls me over, and then goes, I don't need you judging me. I'm like, bitch, I wasn't judging you. What the fuck?
I dropped some.
Sometimes that's for the better. Otherwise you end up in an ER room praying that it's a watermelon.
Somehow, I gotta end up home tonight. Is it when? What day is this?
Thursday.
Okay.
This is Thursday. We're recording on a Thursday instead of a Wednesday this week because, well, shit just got busy.
COVID. Let's say COVID. I don't know. Blame everything else on COVID. And the election. All right. So I asked you to think about this before we started.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can think right now, but who were your role models growing up? Did you have any?
That people will ask that a lot.
So I mean, well, what I mean is, I know your dad wasn't around, right?
Right.
Yeah, so I wonder about.
Except for like 6 weeks a year.
I know you had uncles. I know you had Ben, right?
Right.
And so, but I wonder, maybe Ben. Okay, if it is, say it.
Right.
But who were your role models growing up?
My role model is going. Okay, so there's two levels here. I think Ben was my role model, like unbeknownst. Like I didn't know it at the time, but looking back,
Right, I get that.
right, he's more of who I am than what I realized until I was like 22, 24, somewhere in there. The other one was largely in part was my grandfather that passed when I was like just before I turned 4. And Jack, right.
Okay.
As I've gotten older, I realized that I was really living off of stories.
Stories, right? Which
Right.
is always the best.
Right. You get the best side, you don't get the real side.
Right.
It is what it is.
Which is
Right. You're in a sense
it gives you something to
aspire
aspire
to.
to, right?
Right. You're competing with a ghost when it comes to, because there's no way that any human being will ever compare to everything great that everybody wants to say about somebody that died early.
Right.
Like if I died tomorrow, everybody would be like, man, he was such a hard worker and he loved hard and he lived hard and you know what? He was direct and he stood for what he believed in. And Jack would be like, Jesus, my father was great. Meanwhile, I'm over here like, I'm not getting married. I'm fucking every pussy I see and I want some money.
I was going to say, and then they listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
And go, wait.
Yeah, so if I die, you need to delete this shit, okay?
No, this thing's ever.
So, but so I would say those were my role models. Like I would say those two probably pronounce more of a definition of who I am and who I aspire to be than anything else. And the thing is looking back, I know Ben and my grandpa both had every human what am I going to say deficit that any of us have. They're human,
right?
But between the stories and him, he was trying to pass on what he knew was right.
They handled it correctly,
right? And as I'm raising Jack, I see the same thing. I'm not raising you to be like me. I'm raising you to be the best of me. Void the negative, the negative
You're gonna have
qualities.
your own,
right? And,
unfortunately.
And God, the thing is there's so much that I don't think same-sex parent-wise, and we can only speak from the man side. It is what it is. But same-sex parent is so important because you're trying to teach your kid not only what's right, but also the things that you've learned from what you were taught was right. And you try to teach them that, and then hopefully it rubs off enough that when they come to the quandaries in life that present themselves, that they will make the right decisions grow on their own and pass it on to their kids. You will give them the morality and the common sense enough that when situations present themselves that you did not have, they will make the correct decisions. That's all you can do.
Right.
Is teach them to be better than you. You don't want to teach them to be
Right.
like you. You want to teach them to be
Oh,
better
no,
than you.
I totally agree with that.
But there's so many people from our generations that don't give a fuck enough to even teach them in the first place, let alone to teach them better. And that's why we end up with the shit on social media that we have, the fucking random arguments. I think if we dumped, like, okay, did you know that David Bowie did an interview in the late 90s that was so completely against the internet? He's like, we have this whole aspiration to be something that is greater than what humanity is. And we completely negate the fact that human emotion is going to play more of an effect than human intelligence is. And so we've got this thing that communicates
That's good.
everything that humanity can be.
You could learn so
much. And what do we dedicate, like, most of it to? Porn, music, and arguments.
Music is good.
Music is good. But, like, we're comparing social media to the,
Yeah.
you know, like I said, this is an Instagram post. You spend more time thinking of how this is going to look to other people, other than putting your phone down and spending it with your kid and going, look at this moment.
Yeah.
Look at this with us.
Man, I've been spending more time on that lately than anything.
And the thing is, you've got to do that.
Yeah.
You've only got a time period with your kids
Yeah.
before they stop.
Man, they grow up so fast.
They stop accepting input.
Yeah. And
That's why everybody's like, you know, why don't you? And I'm like, I don't see a point in that. If I spend 5 or 10 years focusing on Jack and making him the priority, like, I don't care what this female says, I don't care. I'm going to teach him right. I'm going to take him to work with me, and then at the end, he goes off and he takes off and he flies away. Then I've got the rest of my life to fucking do whatever the fuck I want. But for this 10 years,
yeah.
because really, when you think about it, your kids' first 5 or 6, 7 years, you're teaching them how to walk and reason, right?
Right.
And then from like 7 to what, like
7
13,
13-ish, yeah.
they'll
Right.
listen. And from then on, you can't get
You don't know
shit through
shit.
to them. You're right. You're fucking done. I raised 2 Jack's older brothers.
I totally get
They
it. However,
fucking did not listen to shit after they hit high school.
I will say, with the older kids, and maybe it's I don't know. I'd hate to put this on them, but maybe it's because you weren't their dad. Maybe.
Right.
But
Oh, I was the same way with Ben at that age. Like, God
with my
praise.
dad, I totally was. I totally.
It's the same-sex parent. You have
Yeah.
to prove that you're your own. And
You're
I
finding
get
your
that.
boundaries.
Right.
You know.
You have to find your own footing.
Yeah.
And that's if it's a real father or a stepfather. It doesn't matter. I think every
Yeah.
person goes through that with their same-sex parent.
I get
Mothers,
that.
daughters, fathers, sons.
I will say, with Dakota, I've maybe because I focus so much on when I see him go a certain way, and I'm like, you don't want to go that way.
You're reeling back in a little bit.
Let's, I
Right.
really work to get him back to where I know he needs to be.
Mhm.
Whether it's socially or politically or whatever.
yeah.
I mean, I'm like, you don't want to go quite that far.
Yeah, life is not
You wanna know
necessarily
your-
white and black.
You want to know your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to find your own way, but I don't want you to disregard others
Right.
in your way.
And not only that, but life is more than what it seems to be at 17
Right.
and 18.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, and
I think that's a big
could you
part.
imagine if we had the internet when we were 17
No.
and everything we thought or said was like
Out there for permanent.
saved for permanent?
Well, and that's the thing. Gen Z
Holy
is so self-absorbed because they've received so much affirmation from people that they spent 12 seconds meeting.
Right. And it's
And that's
Dopamine.
nothing. I cannot tell you the people that I've met over the years. I can't remember. There's times that like I still have Messenger. I don't have Facebook proper, but I have Facebook Messenger, and it'll say you're connected, and I'm like, I don't remember who you are.
Right.
So when I look at somebody's page that's got like 1,200 or 1,400 or 3,000 friends,
do you know me?
I'm like, how do you know this person? I remember one time I asked my sister, do you know this person? And she was like, no. And I sent her a screenshot or something. She was like, oh yeah, she was in a class I had. I was like, so why are you friends?
Right.
You know, and the thing is a lot of the way I raised the two older boys, Jack's brothers, was how I was based on how I was raised by mom and Ben, who was really my dad
at that point. Right,
because he put way more effort than my father actually ever did into raising me. He put more thought into me as a growing individual than just here's food and what you want. Yeah. And
Ben's a great dude.
Oh yeah.
I don't know him that well, but I know him a little bit.
Right. And he's very family oriented.
Yeah.
And that to me, as I've gotten older, has become more important, especially in the last few years, than what I ever realized it would be. So when you look at it like that, I mean, how do I say this? Like I lost my fucking emotions.
I get that.
Like when you like I've raised the two boys in an effort of how I was raised, and Ben when he took me on was young. Right. And as he grew,
I totally get that.
And whatever, the way he fathered when I was from the day he started me to the day that he's raised all of the kids, because when you really consider there's me, there's Jordan, there's Cynthia, there's Summer, and there's Colton, 5 kids. Anybody's gonna change in raising 5 kids.
I mean, just in the amount of time it takes to grow a kid.
Oh yeah, and he never cared about us any more or any less than any other one. Like he was raised in a family that cared about people. Yeah. Whereas my father's side of the family was raised in a family of what can you do for me?
What can you do?
Yeah. So when I realized that I raised those boys a certain way that I was raised because I didn't know any better, and then Jack comes along, Ben's still teaching me as watching him parent, because ironically his youngest is only about 10 years older than my son, you know, and to see them interact is amazing. Yeah. It really is, because his youngest, that is my, I guess, I consider him a brother.
Your oldest
half brother. If he comes to me and he's got a problem, then I would be there for him. You know what I'm saying? He's a good kid, and actually he listens to this, and he bought a hoodie. So he's listening to this right now, which makes me kind of feel like an ass.
This is Colton.
So to watch him interact with my son, and he treats him as a completely equivalent as a nephew, to me is where I start realizing that this whole value thing of family came along long ago before I realized it. You know, before I realized the value of it.
That's the great thing about somebody like Ben.
And it's taught me.
He understands it.
Right, and it's taught me how to raise Jack. Like, I started with the boys in a certain way, and here's the thing. I still get, like, when I relate to people, those boys, yes, I raised them, I was with their mother, whatever. Yeah. They're like, oh, they're polite, and we've had times where we've butted heads. And I don't agree with who they are now, but they're still decent human beings.
Well, I butt heads with my son all the time.
I think it's part of it. I mean, you're just going to do it.
Because you're trying to, they can be better. And you're like, dude,
I see what you can be.
Yeah.
Right. I totally agree.
And I'm like, okay, but then when it's like this, you take a step back and you go, okay, I was this way when I was his age.
Oh, when you realize that asshole you were when you were a teenager.
I'm giving him a little pass, but at the same time, you can be better.
Yeah. Okay.
You're a better man than I was.
you have the
Or
potential
whatever.
to be such a better man than I am.
Right.
Right. Okay. One of Ben's, and now he's, like I said several times, he's due the respect of being called my dad. There's my father. There's your
Right.
dad.
No, I get it.
Now with you had the same in one, but I have to separate that. So
Yeah.
from my father, who taught me several things, I'm not gonna lie, I will give him that, to my dad, who actually raised me. Ben's this one night, I think I was like 6. I know I was driving because I had the liberty of coming in late. And when we lived in this house, there
I
was
think about that for a second.
yeah. I come home late. Curfew was like 10 o'clock, and I think I walked in like 10:10 or 10:15, which completely set the standard for my living because I'm always 10 minutes late getting everywhere I go now.
It's what I messaged
It's
you
what I do.
earlier. I'm like, I'll be there then.
But he said, oh, okay, we had a house that had a 2-car garage built on the end of it. And so everybody, you had to walk
Yeah.
through one walk-in door through the garage into the second walk-in door into the house. And Mom didn't like smoking in the house. So Ben would step out into the garage and smoke a cigarette. But luckily, the window in the walk-in door, you could see the living room from, so you could watch the TV. And so he'd step out and smoke a cigarette and watch a game or whatever he was doing, you know. And I remember walking in like 10, 15 minutes late. And it was really like a movie scene. It was the first time I ever heard this quote. I walked in and I was like, there was complete silence. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna make it.
I just gotta get downstairs.
Right. Because my bedroom was downstairs, as a matter of fact. Yeah. And I walked in and I see the cigarette light up in the night, in the complete darkness. And I was like, I stopped where I was moving. I was like,
I've seen that cigarette.
right. And he goes, boy, you really stepped on your dick this time. And I was like, even though I was like completely scared, at the same time there was this moment where I was like,
Commit that to memory.
fuck. That was like James Bond shit. You know, that was like Oscar-winning.
I'm gonna use that in 30 years.
Oh, I have. I used it on Jack's older 2 brothers.
Oh,
yeah.
I was gonna
like,
say with
man,
Jack, I was like,
you
this dude's like 10
No, not Jack.
Okay.
But I will. I will use it on
Definitely.
Jack. There will come a time where Jack and I will butt heads. There's no
That's
doubt.
what we do.
That's what we do. You challenge your same-sex parent.
Right.
Female to mother, boy to father.
You have to find your boundaries.
It is what it is. It's
And
part of
that's-
earning respect.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Like, as a child, you realize you're buffering that with, like, complete fear. And as a father, you look back and you realize you're waiting for that moment, that they are confirming that you've taught them enough that they're going to stand up for themselves and be their own man.
Right.
And if they don't do that...
I like that. I never thought about it that way, but
Right.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, honestly, when
It's
you think
true.
about it, it's that breaking point of realizing your kid's going to be okay. If
Yeah.
they don't butt heads with you, they're not going to be okay. They're not going to
Right.
learn to stand up for themselves. They're not going to learn to stand up for what they believe in.
Oh, I tell Dakota to question authority all the time. And I'm like,
Right.
Because
If you don't
They're
feel
just
it's
people.
right, with everything I've taught you, if you don't feel it's right and you
Right.
can't stand up for yourself, the world will eat you.
I mean, question me. Because I say, because I said so.
In the same
Although
sense.
my parents were able to use that.
Right.
And I want to be able to use that. I want him to go, but why?
Well, why? Right.
But why?
Right.
And because I want to be able to give a reason
Well, because
why.
right, because up to that point, you were the ultimate form of authority. When they get to that point that they're able to step up to you, that means that maybe they're not questioning you. And I think that maybe that needs to be assessed when it happens. As a
Oh
father.
yeah, definitely.
Because there was a couple kids in our class that held a gun to their. Well, there was one in particular that held a gun to his dad's. I mean, obviously that's a fucking issue.
That's an issue.
That's an issue.
I want to address that
You might, yeah,
in the courts.
yeah. That kid is past fatherly help. He needs some psychological,
Yes.
counseling.
Yeah. And that happens.
Yeah. And I don't think that's anything to blame on parenting. I think that's
Chemical, psychological.
Right.
Something else.
Sometimes you just can't help it.
You win some, you
You
lose
lose some. That's right.
Some are rained out.
You might follow directions on the concrete bag, and it still will crack up into muffin powder. It is what it is.
Muffin powder. That's a
Muffin
good title
powder.
for this episode.
Muffin tips and muffin powder.
Episode 25 and a quarter. Muffin powder.
And muffin tips.
What do you think of that? I can't see that from here.
If you don't agree with us, feel free to comment or email us at
Welcome to
bjontheRocks@gmail.com.
Yeah, bjontheRocks@gmail.com. This.
You're slurring, sir.
Am
I find
I?
it
I'm not
disgraceful.
as thick as you drunk I am.
You're not as thick as I drunk I am.
No. Can you see that from here?
Yes, but it's darker than most of
I can
Biden's
see
voters.
it. And I can tell that I'm on the left and you're on the right.
That seems actually
Other
pretty
than that.
accurate. You know, I'm on the right, you're on the left.
It is. But you're right.
And like I said,
when we're out there,
it's darker than most of Biden's voters.
we're opposite on this.
It is what it
Anyway.
is. Either way,
we
we finish.
Buy a tank top.
Yes. Ooh.
I'm getting tired of paying for this shit every month.
Okay.
I'm not really getting tired. I don't think about it until it comes up. But
we have tank tops.
we have tank tops.
If we could get pictures of girls in tank tops from the neck to like the pelvis with no bra, I will refund personally. I will refund your money.
That's his money.
That's my money. Of tank tops with nipples showing. I want to eradicate nipples showing. I have a fear we're thinking of the same person on this.
I don't care. You gotta email it to bjontheRocks@gmail.com.
And we will refund you the money for said tank top. I will refund you for said money of tank top.
They're not listening this far. Holy shit.
Where are we at?
It's an hour and 35 minutes. 38 minutes, sorry.
Don't forget about the other 45.
I know, right?
We might split this into two episodes.
Some of that.
25 and a half and 26. That could work.
We gotta get caught up somehow.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the Big John sexy voice.
I don't think that person is listening anymore.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
Now I'm disappointed.
I'm not.
I followed her the other night. Not really, but
Like on
just
Facebook
through
or
town.
something?
On Main Street because we're all going to the same place, right? Anyway, I'll cut that out. At 1:39.
I'm telling you, there's 45 minutes on there that was before. And
I
even
know,
if you
right?
edit it out, I'm guessing it probably comes. Why is this falling like my dick after whiskey?
It's a time thing.
It's a time thing.
Just pull it back. Pull it back. Push it in. Push it in. With whatever. Push your head against it. I don't care.
I'm gonna have to go out
Push
to
it
the
down.
toolbox and get like.
Open it up a little bit.
Jesus fuck.
Do I need to? There you go. Yeah, there you go.
That worked?
Yeah, you pulled it out a little bit. All right.
Well,
you pulled it out.
honestly,
Really.
my pull-out game has been strong. If you really look at my ratio.
True.
Otherwise,
Wow.
there would be a whole offering. There would be a whole orphanage dedicated to nicely semen. It would be women nicely done. Oh shit!
I see a website popping up. Women.
Xtube/nicely done.
Have you invested in a webcam?
I'm not that technology savvy, and
Damn.
honestly, my game these days is
Call
not.
me when you need one.
Okay, here's the thing. My game is finally refined, but my energy is like on empty.
I get that.
I mean, it is what it is.
I get that. We're at that age.
Yeah, and that's hard for me
I'm
to
going to be
admit.
39 in a couple months.
Oh, Jesus fuck.
39.
I can't believe
I'm
that.
sorry if you thought I was like 25 or some shit. I really doubt that. Because you guys see me from the side, you see the grades.
Grace.
But I used just for men once And I was like, no.
Nope, not gonna happen.
Nope. I earned every one of these fucking things.
Yeah.
Thank you, son.
Layoffs.
Layoffs, kids,
Jobs. Debt.
death. Oh, death.
Debt.
Death.
And death.
And death.
Either way.
Oh, shit. Debt. Oh. Debt has been the fucking... Oh, shit. I did not see that coming.
That's what she said.
Okay.
That's
Anyway.
like my life right there.
That
I'm
was-
like, look, I'm afraid of the wet rings we're leaving on the table, but this glass bottle, it's in my way. I don't want to deal with it.
Tomorrow's going to be a great day at work.
And here's the thing. Again, I want to reiterate. We're sitting at my grandmother's table in 100 and probably 20-year-old chairs.
These chairs are holding up.
And they creak when you sit in them.
I mean,
And I gotta
with
be
my
honest.
weight.
Do you realize the people that originally sat in these were probably wearing suits and ties and were an average size of
They're
5'6"?
Yeah.
And they were like, look at that being so prim and proper. And we're like, ha!
We're doing this. I mean, you see what we've done.
My grandma would be charging us 50 cents
She
a
would
word.
be.
Oh, livid.
She would be rich.
Oh, livid.
Sorry, Grandma.
I love you, Grandma.
Sorry, Brent's grandma. My grandma was the same way, by the way.
Was she?
She was.
What was her name?
Virginia.
Nancy.
However,
Uh-huh.
her name at the bank was Saint Virginia.
Saint Virginia. No shit.
Saint.
Did she work at the
Virginia.
bank?
She worked at the bank.
My grandma Nancy did too.
At Nottoway Valley.
No,
Oh.
actually, she worked at Citizens Bank there on the corner
Okay,
in
gotcha.
Maryville, but
Yeah.
she didn't work there until after she retired from
Yeah.
Farmers State Bank in Maitland, Missouri.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
Grandpa
Mm-hmm.
worked. I think we talked about this. He worked in the. He was in the Secret Service
Right.
for Johnson. Right, and he was
Right.
in Dallas in the '60s. So
He
you
probably
wonder.
knew more than he.
He never talked about anything.
Oh, no doubt.
Anything.
He didn't want to.
He couldn't. He talked about stuff from the '50s.
He skipped over the early 60s.
Completely skipped over the '60s.
60 to 65.
70s,
probably.
right. I mean, it was
Right.
like getting nothing out of that.
Uh-huh.
He was in the Air
60 to
Force
68, probably.
Office of Special Investigations, OSI.
Oh,
Right.
so he knew about Area 51, probably.
He knew all the shit.
Right.
I mean,
That is
I
such
got
a
some
great
really
part of
cool tapes. I got some really
American
cool tapes.
history.
Yeah.
Such a great part.
I got some really cool tapes of him narrating a video when he was stationed in Saudi Arabia in the 50s. In the fucking 50s, right? Driving the 57 Chevy around Saudi Arabia, right? Holding the 35mm camera. And he's just like, and of course it wasn't narrated at the time, but it was just a recording.
Right.
And then he narrated it later. It was a voiceover type thing. And I got that. And dude, that's fucking priceless.
Oh, no doubt.
Fucking
Yeah.
Campbell's walking across the road. He's talking about shit. And he's like, we were stationed in that bunk, and there were no air conditioners over there, but it was officers over here. They had air conditioners. And it was like, this is fucking like priceless.
And here's the thing: to get into the Secret Service now, you have to have a degree and blah blah blah, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Back then, you could be a simple farm boy that was a hard worker and
He was a farm boy
intelligent.
from Gentry County.
Right, and it was intelligent enough
Right.
and hardworking enough to get into it, and he was able to live a life that allowed him enough worldly experience and life experience
Yeah.
and education, life education, to live to a point where he learned. He went from like the bottom of the barrel to more than most people know in a lifetime,
Yeah.
and he got that.
I'm not
in
sure
an
I
era-
want to know everything he knows.
Oh, and in an era of America that we will never. I think from 45 about 65 is an era of America
Yeah.
that some of us will never understand or know or want to know.
I will agree with that. And I don't think
The music
a lot
line
of
is
people
more than a song.
want to know what really happened.
Right.
We would lose our innocence
Right.
if I mean maybe, That's my belief is we would lose our innocence if we knew what happened.
The day the music died is more than a song. And the fact is after about 65, I think our country entered an era that we will never get back.
Right.
I
believe that.
The thing is education and the human experience is never quite worth what we value it as people.
Mm-hmm.
Human experience to people.
Especially at the time.
Right. Because all of us crave right now I can't tell you one person that I know craves a simpler time in life, whether it's related to relationships, education, time period, government, jobs.
Especially people our age and older.
Anything. Right.
35 and older, probably.
Right. We have a nostalgia that exists based on the blissful existence of ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
And we will never go back to that.
That's unfortunate.
The technology era that all of us value so much, that plays a part in everyday life, has stolen so much from our blissful ignorance that we will never get back.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
It really is. We
you know,
think about it on that level.
I was thinking about that earlier tonight, and I was like, we were talking about, people with ADHD and autism and stuff, and it's like, they're self-medicating on, and people were talking about they were self-medicating on this and that, and I was like, man, dopamine.
Right.
I mean,
on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
dopamine is
fucking
so
Snapchat.
addictive.
I mean, how many people do you know that have like 300 people on Snapchat? I'm like, why would you ever share your
12 years
personal
old.
life
Right.
with 300 people?
Right. I don't. Here we are. We're sharing with 20 people. Maybe someday
60
more. Yeah. Share it. Anyway. No, I totally agree, man. It's a different world.
It is.
And we're never going to go back.
The thing is,
we're never going to go back.
Technology has reached a point where it's evolving faster than our human minds can absorb.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like multiplication. It adds, and then it reaches the point where it multiplies quicker than we can actually adapt to.
You had that squared on there, and it goes pop, 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 and you go.
By the time you reach the 6th level, it's
We've lost control.
We're going 60 miles an hour, and the multiplication is going 120.
Yeah. AI.
Oh,
We've lost control of it.
fucking scary, isn't it?
I mean, there's
like
so
it's
much.
not Terminator level, but it's to a point where it's like
You can see it happening.
not only that, but the ignorance level of humanity going self-pleasure and selfishness above humanity and
Right.
people you care about.
Or I like Facebook better than
Right. Okay.
whatever.
I seen a. I don't even remember what it was. It might have been a Black Mirror Netflix thing, if I'm remembering correctly. It's basically this guy going. He was seeing his future and seeing what he'd chosen over family. And here's the thing: if you really put yourself in the place of your last moments of life, okay, as compared to your choices when you're 30. When you're 30, you're seeing self-pleasure now. You're seeing, what do I want? What makes me feel good? What do I want for dinner right now? At the ends of your life, you're going, I should have ate healthier. I should have spent more times with my loved ones. This is the woman that I love.
Yeah.
These are the I miss when my children were young enough that I could talk to them and I could see their affirmation in their eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
When you really look back at that, if you look at that compared to how we live our lives now, it's completely invalidated, and that's a place in life that I think all of us wish we could go back to, when we didn't have anything in front of us but what was in front of us.
Oh yeah. Definitely. So, while you were saying that, I remembered something I was wanting to say.
You got titty pics on your phone from your wife?
No. I want to say better. Better in a longevity
Better than
sense.
titter pics from your wife?
Better than in a longevity sense, right?
Uh-huh.
On my grandma's last birthday,
Right.
she died in February. Her birthday was in January. We shared a birthday, January
Really?
15th. Yeah. So for 35 years or whatever, 37 years, we shared a birthday. And on her last birthday, we got together, celebrated, and luckily somebody recorded this moment where after they, brought out the Dollar Tree and whatever, with everybody put a $20 bill on whatever, somebody captured this moment where she kind of like said her piece with life and what she wanted for everybody. And I'd like to play it right now. We'll see if anybody can hear this
Hear
or
it?
not.
Did you get a new phone case?
Yeah. Pause.
You know you're close to a friend whenever you notice their new phone case.
I did. This thing was sliding off my lap.
That's what she said.
Wish you all a happy night. I've had a great one, and I am so thankful for all of you. It's wonderful to have you. I hope you have this in your life. Wish you.
There you go.
That's nice.
Somebody captured that, and I was like, saving that.
Right.
And the day she died, I watched that like 3 times, and then I cried for about 15 minutes.
Because you realize she knew.
That was it. She knew
She
at
wasn't
the
gonna
time.
be another
She knew
birthday.
at the time. Shit, that was it. And she just got out of the hospital, and she, like I said, she knew. So what we had in that moment was amazing, and I'm glad somebody captured it, and I saved it, and I'll watch it often.
Right.
Because it reminds me of what's really important,
When it comes down to it.
When it comes down to it, what's really important, people.
The sad
And
thing
your bubble.
is time gives us so much and it also steals so much. When you think about work and responsibilities, and here's the thing, so they understand, but at the same time we feel guilty for not being able to make more time for it. But I hope everybody listening takes a moment to think about their past loved ones and their grandparents and the moments with their kids when they were younger, and loved ones, whether they're still with them or whether or not. Because ultimately, no matter where you are in life, whether you get divorced and you moved on, or there's always important parts to everybody's life that thinks, this is what makes me who I am, and this is what taught me lessons about what's important. And ultimately, when I go, in those last moments before it goes black, we think about, this is what we left.
Yeah. And
So going from goofy slut jokes to hey, our dead relatives, this is what we got left.
Well, it's something I want to say is, as long as you're breathing, you still got time. Make time for those people.
Right.
Even if there's somebody you want to reach out to, I don't care if it's somebody you had an affair with 25 years ago. If you still cross your mind, right?
Shit.
They mean something to you,
Right. Well, I think, and here's the thing. If somebody teaches you a lesson, even if they don't care, it's still a lesson that you can pass on to your
Right.
loved ones.
I saw something. Legacy isn't what you leave behind; it's what you leave within people. Or
I can
so
see
I
that.
probably misquoted that with
No,
Captain
it
Morgan,
completely
but it
makes
was
sense,
something
though.
like that.
It makes sense though. It's not
Yeah.
what you leave behind as much as
It's
like what you pass on.
Yeah. It's,
Because here's the thing.
it's what people take with them.
You know what that comes back to? You know what that comes back to?
What's it come back to, my
Your
friend?
bubble.
My bubble.
Your bubble.
Protect your bubble.
Everything you experience in life, you can only pass on to your bubble.
Yeah.
Whether it's your kids, your wife, your friends, your whatever.
Now I will say
Because there's some things that I've done in my life that, whether you spoke to me or not, has influenced your decision to go, I'm staying with, like there's nothing better than my wife.
I see where you're going with this.
I mean, there's got to be some things where you're like, I'm so glad I'm married, and
so
I've
glad
invested so much on my wife,
what I got.
and she is what she is. And at the same time, there's things that you've done for me where you've said, hey, we did this, we worked through it, we did this, whatever, and completely in private, and I've taken it home and gone, I wish I could build something that valued that.
Yeah.
So,
I was gonna go somewhere with that.
around the corner to the right.
Of your butt around the corner. Never done that for 35 years, have you?
Text me when you figure that out.
Fuck. Thank you, Captain Morgan.
Yeah,
You just
where'd he
rigged.
go? He's going over by the cabinet. Look at that shit. You see that?
Wow,
Clear.
you made it.
I can't shoot farther than that when I'm by myself.
That had to slide there. Like, that had to slide there.
I spit on it.
God damn. I wish I could
I
remember
called
what
it a dirty slut. I spit on it and I sent it. I was
Yeah.
Dude,
She made it. Oh, Captain made it.
Captain Jack will get me high tonight.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Your sister's out. She's on a date.
You just sit at home.
And you masturbate. I love how you pointed at me like, look, I
Because
it's
we
cool,
know.
but I don't want to say it, and this is more your part.
This is
And he's
where-
right.
I knew where you're going with that. I knew when you said the first line. I was like, I know
Right.
why you said that first line.
Right, my right hand.
Because it was right before what he wants to say.
Oh.
We're Billy Joel fans. What can we say? What
Yeah.
the fuck?
If you haven't like looked into Billy Joel's like library, there's so many life. He is as much as an advocate for the life experience as
Oh my god.
Bob Dylan.
Like maybe okay, it's a little poppy, but like
Oh, in the
my life.
late '80s to early '90s.
Yeah, my life. We didn't start the fire. I mean, if you can't listen to that and go, well,
That
there's
would
some fucking history to
completely
that
apply to this election.
shit. I've really thought about rewriting a third verse to that song.
Like
You could rewrite a third verse to just this year, right? But, Baby Grand.
Oh.
I think you turned me on to that one.
Oh, that's one I still
Baby
play by
Grand.
myself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When I was kind of like, oh, goosebumps.
Ray
And I
Charles
started
getting
telling my-
involved in that.
I started
That's like
telling my
2
wife now.
generations worth of shit.
Yeah. I started telling my wife now because I get goosebumps all the time when I listen to music. I
get
started telling her
goosebumps
now,
when I
I'm
touch
like,
myself.
goosebumps. Because she's like,
I don't
she
want
never gets it.
anybody else.
Nothing ever.
When I think about you, I touch
Not
myself.
like that.
Oh.
Maybe that. I don't know. She was an 80s kid.
Hey, did you see that lock over? Look at that door over there.
What are you doing?
Look at the door over
What are
there.
you doing?
Look
Oh
at
my gosh.
Look at the door over
Are you
there.
roofing me?
No, not at all.
If you want a shot, just take a shot.
I won't drink out of your glass, but I'll steal it.
But I'll still.
I won't fuck your wife, but I'll think about her. I'm kidding. I'm completely. Tisha, please forgive me.
She ain't listening to this.
Episode 25 and a half.
If she's made
Totally
it this,
between the effort.
if she's made it through,
Oh god, 25 episodes.
holy shit, 2 hours
And 25 episodes.
and 20
oh yeah.
and 30 minutes or 40 minutes.
You gotta admit, she loves you. If she's made it this far, she loves
She
she
ain't
loves
making it through this.
She'll love me like that.
I'll say this to anybody out there: if you all are listening, she ain't. She stopped at episode like 4
Is
or
this
5.
that ignorant bliss we were talking about?
Now I can say whatever I want. Like she listened to the first 5, and I was like kind of like reserved. And now I'm like, fuck it! Here we go!
Skeet, 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 motherfucker!
Stand, bro.
Is this what you were talking about like like early in the episode we're low in decimals and then we slowly go.
Yeah. But honestly, we did start out kind of aggressively.
Yeah, we spit on
By the time we
dirty
got into
slut.
we were there.
Have you ever? Okay, I can't really ask that to you, but I can just say this from personal experience. Like when I was younger, like rough sex is completely different to now. Like now, girls are like, call me dirty names, and I'm like, dirty fucking slut, you want this cock? And they're like, all over my sheets, right?
Really?
Yeah, and 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been confident enough to say that. Like they're like, talk dirty. I'm like, you like my penis in your vagina?
Right. That's.
Excuse me.
That's the thing. Is like, do you really want it? That's what a married guy of 20 years says.
I would make her ask for it. Seriously, like grab a wrist, pin her down, and go, ask for it. Not quite like Vladimir or whatever.
I just take it whenever it's available.
Here's the thing:
if she says it's here, I'm like,
if you can talk like Vladimir Putin during sex, you've got it made. Talk to me.
You want the pussy?
Ask for it. You want Putin? You Putin it in your ass. Yeah.
Take
You're
the,
like,
take the
I don't know.
Putin. Take the Putin.
I don't
The
know where
Putin is great. The Putin is all the
I
greatness.
don't know where we went Schwarzenegger with this.
Good
You like cigars? You smoke cigars like a man in the house, yeah? You tell her, I'm smoking cigars, I don't care what you think, yeah?
It's not too much.
You like my
Viagra.
dick? You kiss it in the butt cheeks, yeah? I don't give a fuck. Either way, I'm finished, yeah?
I don't know, man. Get to the chopper. It's chopping you up.
If I could fuck a girl,
It'll chop you on how.
If I could fuck a girl that would like role play to like what am I wanting to say, like Alien or something? Yeah, Predator.
Right.
Get to the chopper, and I'm just like banging her in the Putin. You know?
You wouldn't finish, man.
Oh, I totally would. Oh, fuck
I
yeah.
would laugh so fucking hard.
I would spit on her back and then wait until she's like, was it good for you? And I'd be like, in her face. I don't even give a shit. I'm to the point in my life that
You can still get
political correctness does not have any influence on what comes out of my mouth. And also...
Or in your mouth.
And also, it plays no part in compassion as to orgasm.
Well, this is true.
Yeah. I
This
mean,
is
totally.
true.
Oh, here's the scary part. I think I feel a pee coming on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that means we either got to wrap up or you got to do the doodly doo.
I think we're wrapping up because at this point,
I never wrap up.
I know.
God forbid.
You had the surgery.
I had the vasectomy.
I'm gonna have the surgery.
You should.
Just
an
because
investment.
it's
Sometimes you
It's
wait
so much work
a
sometimes.
lifetime for a moment. Okay, so my vasectomy doctor talked about baseball until the point
Were you singing Kelly Clarkson to me?
I think so. I don't know. But here's the thing. When I had my vasectomy, my doctor talked about baseball so long while he was clipping my right nut that the Novocaine or whatever they use wore off on the left nut, and I can feel him. I can not only feel him clip it, but I can feel him like cauterize it up into my belly button.
No.
Oh, dude.
No, I'm out. I'm out.
I gotta be honest. You know
Just
what?
Get that shit done.
As much as physical pain as that was, it will never compare with the fact of the pleasure that I get when a woman says, I'm late, and I'm like,
Not my problem.
hey, me, bitch. So I'll take that. I'll take that shit.
Blinks,
I'll take
baby.
that shit like A.A. Ron, and I'm not even a baseball fan, but I'll take that shit like A.A. Ron when he found out that he
A-Rod.
was... A-Rod?
There you go.
A-Rod.
Hey, Ron was on the
The Comedy Central.
whatever that company. Yeah.
So, Keel and Peely or whatever.
Kill. Yeah. The
I don't know.
The Dave Chappelle
Right.
replacements.
Right, exactly. No shit. But yeah, I'll take that like that because look, sticks and stones may break my bones, but child support won't get me.
I'm moving to Texas.
I'm out. Check,
You learned something from your father. I'm sorry.
If it's one thing I learned from my legitimate father, it was that he got a vasectomy at 35, and he begged everybody
That
to
could be
between then and death.
Move to Texas.
Right. Where child support was right. So
You're the one I
anyways,
learned that from, by the way. So
Really?
yeah,
You're
I
welcome.
didn't know that until you said that. And I was
but your
like,
kids are almost raised, so
well,
not
but
like you'd ever leave your wife at the first fucking
no,
place.
not for
right.
me, not for me.
Right.
For my niece and her piece of shit father. I'm sorry. If you're watching this, you're a piece of shit.
You're a piece of shit.
D.
Agree.
Okay.
Oh, D. Fuck, I
Fuck.
remember him.
We won't use last names, but you're a piece of
Here's
shit.
the thing. For such a pleasurable item as we refer to D as being, this D is rather syphilitic.
Piece of shit.
Discharge.
I've talked against him in court
Penicillin wouldn't solve it.
for the joy of just doing it. I was like,
That's how I feel about
do
butt
I get
sex.
to talk about D in court? I will do it. That wasn't even for parental shit. It was for,
Did you finish yours? Sip.
I think.
Sip and dip. This signifies
It's your table, bud.
the end of an episode.
The end of the episode.
At 2 hours.
Hopefully we can turn it off when we're done.
This is episode 25 and a half to
25 and a
26.
half and 26.
If you've been here, we're taking a week off next week, and we're just gonna get together and get drunk.
Yeah, I agree. I
No
agree with
microphones.
that. I agree with that. Let's do that.
And we're doing this for us. Because you are a booty call. I'm kidding. Come back and see us.
Come back, but we get no emails. I'm serious, we get no emails.
And I know. But here's the thing. Buy a tank top, woman. Send it to us nipples. And now I feel bad. I'm asking for nipples while your grandma's talking. Okay,
It's
you
an accident.
order a tank top, send pictures neck to waist of nipples, and we'll
you wanna
dedicate an
know-
episode to you.
You want to know what we get the most emails from?
What's that?
Teespring. Who our t-shirts are through, right? I get more emails from them than anybody.
And
Well, I'm
here's
going to
the
start
thing,
reading their emails online.
I appreciate everybody who has bought a
Joggers, your community will be all over.
I've got to pee. We've got to end this.
We got to end this.
I'm
I'm not reading this.
I'm going to show my
Anyway.
dick on YouTube.
Send us an email at bjontherock@gmail.com.
Send us pictures of you in a tank top with just your nipple showing.
Sure, that's for Brent. I won't look at it, I promise.
Either way, I'll finish.
Yeah, YouTube, subscribe, like, hit the notification. What do I say? Don't hit the notification button.
Right, the bell.
The
in,
bell. So
actually, it's this corner over
I
here
don't
by
know
me.
what it fucking
It will be,
means.
the
I
bell
guess
for the
you get-
notifications is over here.
I guess you get.
It's
notification-
right here.
Right there.
Right here.
Right there. I don't know. What else?
I got nothing. bjontheRocks@gmail.com. bjontheRocks@gmail.com.
We have a. All right. Good night, y'all. This has been episode 25 and a half and 6. Whatever. Good night. See you next week. Cheers.
Thank you.